every time I've served with you on boards, I've been involved with you in community, programs and whatnot. Everywhere we go, you have a really gentle but direct skill of influence. It's something we talk about a lot here. I would love to know kind of how you get there and what sort of things are important, because I think a lot of the stuff you do unconsciously, if that makes sense.
So, and I'm sure that some of what I do is unconscious or subconscious, right? But if somebody's a glass half full, this is what I've learned, and I don't know if it's right or not, but if somebody's a glass half full person, there's a lot there. And it's really hard to take somebody that's a glass half empty person and make them a glass half full person. I've never been successful at it, and I've tried. So you got to start with somebody that sees value in life and sees value in doing things. And then next you got to find something that you care about, right? That you're passionate about. I used to stand in front of I'll go back to Letica again. I used to stand in front of the sales force, and I'd say, okay. And I used to call my sales force palesmen, right? Instead of salesmen, we sold pails, so they were palesmen.
I love that.
Right? So I'd say, okay, all you palesmen out there. I said, who wanted to be a palesman when they were growing up? Raise your hand. And nobody would raise their hand, right? So what did you want to be? A fireman, an Indian chief, whatever, right? They all wanted, when I said, well, we got to like what we do. And we're in the people business here. That's what we're in. And we have this amazing opportunity. If you look and say, I'm selling food and industrial packaging, how sexy does that sound? Pretty awful, right? Food and industrial packaging. That just doesn't sound like a fun career. But if you say, I sell packaging and I get the opportunity to look at all these different businesses. I can look at the paint business and the gypsum business and the strawberry business and the pickle business and the cat litter business and anything that's bulk packaged. I get exposure to all of these different industries and these different businesses and all these different people and all of their stories and all of their personalities. And so, you got to love what you do. You have to learn as you're taking the journey, I think. I love to learn. And so when I would go to a Glidden paint facility, I would grab the guy that ran it, and I'd ask him to give me a tour, and I would ask questions all the way through. And when I was done, everybody loves talking about themselves, right? The guy would like me. I like you guys because you're making me talk about me. See?
Yeah.
Everybody likes talking about themselves. And so I would learn a lot about that person, about his family, about his career, about his plant. And then I would ask my salesperson, and I would know more in my one call than the guy had been calling on him for years.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So there's another answer, right? Is that you've got to ask questions. You've got to
be interested.
You've got to be interested.
Yeah, and
right?
it's genuine, right?
Right.
That your curiosity, and how much I just think back to your Ford story, right? Like where you were more of a consultant than you were pushing product, right?
Right.
Because you actually were genuinely interested in the way that their business was running, where your predecessors before you were just interested in what their numbers were at the end of each month, right? So, yeah, and I think that's a big deal. I think about anybody in my life I think the reason we're sitting here today and we wanted you on the podcast is because you've been so interested in us and you take an interest genuinely in who we are. And I think about anything with influence, anybody in my life, they're always way more interested in what I'm doing than what they're doing, And I think that's a universal just truth in every situation where you're trying to influence. So
I would agree with you.